This little guy here is a Microlino.
But don't worry, we're not doing a car review.
Because we're really, really good at taking things apart.
Now this is a press car, but don't worry, we don't do this to every press car we get. And you really shouldn't do it to a press car. So probably going to get loads in trouble. But this is the underside of the Microlino. As you can see, we have a battery pack in the middle. And there's a brake line running down here, so we can't drop the battery pack out without doing the brakes, which is really, really annoying. And then there's a motor and gearbox hidden up here and loads of other stuff on the inside. So let's get into it. Let's start taking some bits off this car and see what's going on inside.
So above me, this is a 15 kilowatt hour battery pack. And I don't know what voltage because there is nowhere online that tells me what voltage system this runs. But this Mavel motor that's in here with the controller on the back only has a black and a red wire going to it, which tells me that because it's not orange, it is not high voltage. Also, it's a 12.5 kilowatt hour motor. Now a motor that size, if it was 400 volts, I'd be expecting probably 40 to 50 kilowatts, and it's not. So I'm going to get a multimeter and I'm going to find out what voltage this system is running. So the car's powered up, right, Chris?
Yep.
Okay then. Let's see what we've got here. Like I said, it's got to be below 60 volts because it's not got orange cables. What's it showing?
52.9.
So what would you say that is, a 48 volt nominal?
48 volt nominal Sifton, which means below 60 volts, so not classed as HV.
There we go. I still don't want to shock from it.
Still give you a little bit of a tickle, won't it? A little bit of a tickle.
Little tickle. There we go. So I couldn't find it online what voltage this system was, but now you know, 48 volt system.
With a 15 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Yes, and a 12.5 kilowatt hour motor. They also do one of these that's limited.
Kilowatt hour motor?
Sorry, kilowatt motor. They do one as well, that is limited to 28 miles per hour for people who, it's a quadricycle, so you can drive it at 16, and in France and Italy, 14.
Who the hell would let a child drive?
I don't like driving this at 34.
That's why, Nick, I think it's life or deaths in France for motor stuff is double the UK, and they got about the same population. You're going to pop that little panel off, are you?
Should we take this panel off?
Yeah.
You need to find a poppy tool.
Some factory zip ties. What's in there?
Steering's coming in here.
It's got like a bevel box, yeah?
Well, I don't actually know if it is. That looks like, let me get my torch.
No,
that's a UJ into a mount into there. So it comes down from the steering column. UJ at the bottom. Guessing that's a double there.
Yeah, looks like it.
A double UJ through this bearing to another UJ to another UJ into the front of the steering rack here. It's an interesting way of doing it. Believe it or not, the steering actually felt all right.
It handles way better than I thought it would. Drives really well.
And then you've got the brake pedal just coming through this slit in the floor here into the mass cylinder that's here. No servo or power assist on the brakes, but it's
there's a brake sensor in there, just up there.
Yeah, it must be a pedal position sensor there.
Cool.
And the throttle pedal, I'm assuming, is just a fly-by-wire, so it'll just be its own unit.
But surprisingly, it's actually, in my opinion, very, very well built.
Well, it's very simple.
But it's not built cheap and like crap like we've seen with some of the other small microcars.
No.
It seems very sturdy, like everything's metal, everything's pressed.
Everything's coated.
Yeah.
The whole thing is coated.
Like, they may be annoyed at us taking this apart, but to be perfectly honest, it's showing
the quality of it.
The quality of it.
It's simple but well built.
What you found, Nick?
Don't really know.
Is that a bias thing?
Yeah, I don't know what that is there. It almost looks like you could probably turn it.
Yes, I think it's a rear end adjuster, because when we were braking very hard yesterday, it was sort of
skidding on the rear.
Getting the back end a bit light, skidding on the rear. So I reckon that must be
You've got little brake calipers.
Oh, yes.
With the handbrake cable onto them.
Yep, and I would presume the front and rear hubs are the same, do you reckon?
Oh, let's have a look.
The fact that they've got these in here.
Well, it's just independent suspension, but
you'd say they'd run the same hubs.
the hubs are the same because if you look where the steering is into these hubs, that is where the rear arms are in here.
Yeah.
If you'd adjust the rear toe. So, yeah, they do look like we're running the same hubs front and rear because the brake calipers are mounted in the same positions.
Yeah, which makes sense from a price point of view. Run the same bits and the same arms as well.
I think they're just sided, left hubs and right hubs by the looks of it.
And they got same arms?
The arms, yeah, I'd say the arms are the same as well.
Maybe not. Yeah, they are actually. It's just this wider on the front track and a narrower track on the rear.
Yeah,
but the arms are the same.
The arms are the same. So they just mount in different points on the subframes.
It's actually pretty efficient when it comes to manufacturing.
Oh, very. Yeah, shared parts. You'll probably find the struts are the same as well. It does actually say on here rear strut. So maybe the struts are different. Microlino.
Guess what, Nick? It's even got 4 of the same tyres.
Same size. What's really concerning now, right, is Microlino on the back of the car is spelled Lino, Lino. On the rear shock absorber, it's spelled Leno. You can't really see it very well because it's right up there as it goes around the corner, but it's spelled differently. You'll see it on this one, I think. If I clean it here, there you can see Leno. So the suspension strut manufacturer spelt the model of the car wrong. but we'll let that go.
So it's as if I spelt it then, yeah?
Yeah, it's like someone told you Microlino, you just spelt it how you wanted to spell it. You would have thought, you know, there would be some documentation that had it on there spelt correctly. But yeah, the fronts are the same, spelt wrong.
Shall we lower it down and take some of the interior apart?
I think I'd like to see how they're doing the control system.
Because I want to find out what's on the top of here, because these motor cables, they go up through and they disappear into the cabin.
Let's roll that seat forward. While we're waiting for the vehicle to hit the ground, I just want to remind everybody that Garage Equipment Online have given us a 10% discount code for everyone watching. So the code is Nutz10. So if you're in the market for some new ramps or garage equipment, head to garageequipmentonline.com and use the code Nutz10. It's quite cute. Look at this. I think that's how it works. Comes with its own backpack. I think it's got charge cables in it. Let's have a look. Yep. It's got a charge cable in there. That might fit in there too.
Oh, it even tells you where the door opening button is, look.
We needed that. Got done with that yesterday. So let's have a look. Oh, this is attached to the seat. Oh, it's Velcroed. Right. There's a thing that says attention, max 5 amps. So that must be the 12-volt battery under there. We've got an isolation for the 12-volt here. We've got on-off. I don't know what that says there. But little tool thing. Not really any tools, there's a tow eye, which is just stuck in there. And I don't know what's under here.
I think it's time to find out, Nick.
You think?
Methinks.
Because there's nothing, those cables aren't going into the cab look, because that's just under the seat there, you can see.
I'll make you some space, put the seat forward.
Well, there's some bloody screws that side of it, so it's going to be a nuisance. Do you think this is where the cables are poking into?
I reckon that's top of the battery pack.
Might well be.
I reckon that's our high voltage junction box. Non-high voltage, but high voltage. So now we're looking in the, what we think is classed as, well, I call it the high voltage junction box, but it's not. So we have a charger, a DC-DC here, which is air-cooled. We have obviously three phase or 3 wires coming in there, which is L1, neutral and earth. We have some fuses, which will be the 48-volt fuses here. And that goes off to the motor, little 12-volt battery. I'm presuming that in there must be the VCU that controls the whole car. A couple of connectors, and then there's a 12-volt shut-off here for if you're going to park it for long periods of time. Basically shut that off so it doesn't drain the battery down over time. And looking at this here, it's actually grounded to body. So the 48-volt system is grounded to chassis as well as the 12-volt. And then up here you've got more fuses. Lots of fun, eh, Nick?
Very fun.
Really comfortable there.
Yep.
Love the fact you can just fill your screen wash up when you're sat driving along.
If you've got any drink left over.
Yeah. Any leftover drink, or if you really need the toilet while you're driving,
The little wee chute.
it's literally got a urinal built in.
I do like the simplicity of the car. Nothing's over complicated. The hinges, nothing like. It's all just basic, easy.
And there's some real quirky bits, like the sports button has
a bullet bill on top.
Yeah, which I think is quite cool. And then it changes on the dashboard here when you press it. And there's like a little flame in here. The faster you go, the bigger the flame gets. And then what's we got up here, Nick? We've got like...
This is the blower control.
Oh.
There's the fans. You've got your heat control. It's got a heated front and rear windscreen. And then you can slide this across. You've got your boot popper. I don't know what this is. Oh, turn your interior light on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know what settings does.
Settings, there's some cool stuff in settings. So if you slide across, go back to where you were and press
this one,
the next one.
Yeah.
There we go. Look, it changed the dashboard.
So I can change the display.
Yep. I think you can name it.
You can also change the way it looks of it, the language, what unit you want it in.
Yeah, miles per hour, kilometers an hour.
Oh dear. You can name it. So
Nutz. And I think you swipe down or swipe up, like you would like a phone. There we go.
Did it do anything?
Well, I don't know where the name goes because it doesn't have a name on there.
I think it's when you start it up, maybe. But I don't really know. You want to try it again?
No, it's fine. I'll maybe try changing it to the other display.
Hang on. Any name?
No name.
Nuts.
And then the door latch is hidden behind there. There's a little
Door
button,
release is here.
which has caught you out for like half an hour before, doesn't it?
One other really cool little thing though is the door. If I just shut it gently.
Soft close.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
It's quite cool.
And it's all very simple.
And you got this. This is basically a convertible.
You've got your cup holders here.
Got your stereo, which you can take with you.
Yeah, a Bluetooth speaker, charge points. You got charge points here, your hazards button. But what's really cool is that everything that's in this door, the blower unit and everything, if I can get the panel off, I can't remember which way it goes.
From the bottom.
From the butt to the top. I still can't do it. There we go. Everything's contained within the door. So you got your OBD here with this little fuse and relay box.
Which is really cool. I'd love to find one of these from.
Yeah, you've got a small pollen filter here.
Which looks like it's actually fairly
So I imagine you can just pull out through there. And in there is where your blower unit is. And I'm assuming the PTC heater is all within the door.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Chris, there's birds in here again.
Oh, pigeons.
Oh, bloody pigeon. Go away. Yeah, I told them.
I understand you then. Pigeon.
Oh, speaking pigeon.
You're going to come back in a minute. Careful.
Yeah, everything's within the door, which is pretty cool. I'm interested to know what's in behind here. Because there must be some sort of control in there because it's just a... They've obviously used that bit for something, right?
Take it off then.
I'm suspicious.
You can even top the brake fluid up when you're driving as well.
Get your passenger to do that. It's hard to reach from there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to have a little nose under here.
Start procedure there.
Turn the key.
You know,
Wait.
the first stage, is open the door. Well, if you can see that, I think safe to say you've already opened the door.
No, it's not saying that.
It is. Quick start guide.
Yeah, why is it
Open the
opening
door.
the door, close the door? You know, you scan that, and that's the numbers of the sections that tell you how to do things.
Yeah, but still, like, start up quick guide.
There is one thing with this car that really wrecks me, is if you sit in there and start it up, how long it takes once you've turned that key to actually do anything.
Well, currently the screen is constantly... Oh, the screen's finally gone off. Okay.
So if I shut the door, yeah?
Yeah, shut the door then. So that's the key on.
A little fan noise.
The key is on right now, and it will let me select drive, I think, and drive, but the screen is still not on.
Oh. No, it won't let you drive until
go.
It's done this.
So it's, oh, hey Nutz, there we go.
That's good. But yeah, now you can drive.
You could rename this to so many interesting things, couldn't you?
It will be before it goes back.
Who can guess in the comments what Nick named it as?
You know what I named it as? Oh, before it goes back.
Before it goes back.
We'll figure something.
It's just the connectors. And
there's literally some connectors. It's a big space for nothing. There's nothing interesting in there at all. I thought there might have been like a control VCU or something in there, like a body control unit or something, but there's nothing interesting at all in there apart from two connectors, which are probably the connections from the door here.
Under here, gear shifter. But you have the top mount bolts just hidden under there. That is all one piece. It's quite pretty. Be pretty cool to put on a conversion, wouldn't it?
It would be. Get the part number.
Well, if you look, there are some numbers, but I doubt they really mean anything.
Cool. Good.
Cool.
That's our discount code for many, many things. You coming in?
I'm coming in with you. Let's go.
Oh, handbrake. We've got to take the handbrake off. Oh,
Still
there
works.
she goes. It's a funny little thing, isn't it? Great turning circle. Apply handbrake.
That was an interesting episode.
It was. It's always nice to just have a little look at how everybody else does things. Because you can learn a lot, can't you, even from something so simple.
You really can. I need to put this seat forward, Nick.
Oh, we got to share it. Oh, whoa!
Thank you so much for watching. And next time, you might see us working a bit more on that. Not Carl, as in the Tesla thing.
We're going to try and get it running, right? As it is.
Try and get it to run.
As it is with no body panels.
With no body panels.
Because there's a bit of surprise in store for everybody.
There is definitely a surprise in store for everybody. See you all soon.